Hello! I'm sure you can tell if you follow me on Tumblr, shameless plug. But yeah, I've gotten pretty into Crash Bandicoot over the past few months. And one of the things that's interested me most about it is its unexpected amount of queer characters. Yeah, you probably wouldn't think the silly Bandicoot platforming game would have queer rep in it, but it does! So I wanted to talk about it. Because there's a lot to it. It's really cool, I swear. Disclaimer! The characters I'm talking about are just the ones that stood out to me and or have the strongest evidence for them being queer, in my opinion. If you have any other queer Crash faves, then please go off about them in the comments. I always love to see that. Whoa! Crash is an interesting one to analyze because he's silent, and usually doesn't have opinions on things. He's a very blank slate kind of character most of the time. He's just like a goofy guy. That's kind of it. But when he's not, he's very interesting. First of all, he had a girlfriend, Tana, who he seemed to love and care about. I mean, when he escaped from Cortex, he could have just left her, but he didn't. He came back. But she broke up with him, so maybe the feelings weren't entirely mutual, or maybe Tana just thinks Pinstripe is hotter. Could be that. Now, Crash and Cortex. There's definitely something going on there. You might assume that Crash hates him because he, got kidnapped and experimented on by him, but that doesn't seem to be the case. In Crash 2, he is very much willing to trust him, even after everything that happened in and before Crash 1. This alone doesn't mean much, especially because in Warped he went right back to being very neutral on him, but then Twinsanity happened. So, Twinsanity! Most of the gay stuff in this game comes from Cortex, and I'll talk about him in a bit, but it's important to remember that Crash is a part of this too. He's the one wearing the dress in the wedding promo image. He's the one who totally checked out his ass in 2 scenes. I know that was a joke, but are we serious right now? He's the one choking him out. He is a part of this dynamic. This game implies quite a bit about Crash's feelings. So yeah, I was spouting absolute nonsense here. Read the I'm gonna put text on screen. Read the text. And then there's Crash 4, ignoring the, other part of it. Crash's relationship with Cortex is great. He's quick to accept Cortex when he quote-unquote turns good, and then goes to hug him when it happens. He is so sweet. He's shocked that Cortex would consider him a failure, implying that he may think he has positive feelings towards him. But also, he does bust it down after sending him to the end of the universe, so, I don't know. That's kind of just a Crash thing. He does that a lot. So, Crash bisexual? It's more likely than you'd think.
Let's make it more flamboyant. And I said, okay, well, explain flamboyant. And they said, well, more feminine. And I said, more feminine, you want him gayer? Is that basically this? Sort of, but...
Now let's talk about someone who's also bi. Cortex. The history here is very interesting, so I hope you're ready for it. He was a pretty normal villain for the first 2 games, but in Warped, his character began to change. This game writes Cortex to be less intimidating, and as someone who can be sympathized with because of his abusive relationship with Uka Uka. Cortex also became a bit less serious, and his voice was changed to be less scary and more silly. And also more feminine. These changes continued into CTR, Wrath of Cortex, and Nitro Kart. He kept getting progressively less traditionally evil, and come Nitro Kart, he began getting queer-coded. Now, an important thing to address here is that pretty much all of the queer coding in the writing started in the 2000s, and the 2000s were quite a time. And not a great time to be gay in. It was very uncommon for a queer character to be written as anything other than a joke. A very homophobic joke. So it goes without saying that we are not going to get any sincerely written queer characters in Crash Bandicoot during this time. Especially because the series is focused on comedy. So anyway, Cortex's queer coding in Nitro Kart amounts to a few jokes in his voice lines and nothing else. Awesome. However, this is still important. This game sowed the seeds. And you know what happened after that? Twinsanity, baby! Oh yeah! As I'm sure you can already tell, Twinsanity is quite possibly the video game of all time. And in it, Cortex is undeniably written as queer. I'm not even saying coded anymore because, come on! If you're watching this video, you've probably already played this game before, so you know what I'm talking about. But in case you haven't, or just need a refresher, promo image of Crash and Cortex getting gay married, Cortex cross-dressing, Cortex being extremely obsessed with Crash and also talking to him like this.
And I missed you.
Weird sexual tension in those ball form idol animations. That one scene where he caresses Crash's tits while talking to him, like, weird again. This unused animation of them dancing. Them going to relationship counseling in the 100% ending, and it's basically just couples therapy. So yeah, in case you haven't noticed, this game is really gay, and Cortex is the gayest part of it. His character was changed a lot in Twinsanity, but the changes are not unbelievable in my opinion. The precedent was set in earlier games that he might not be straight, and Twinsanity basically just confirms it. Now, I do feel it's important to point out that, again, everything is just jokes, and Crash and Cortex are not actually in a relationship, nor do they confirm to have feelings for each other. But like, come on, there's definitely something going on here. And by the way, in this game, it is heavily implied that Nina is Cortex's biological daughter, meaning that he had sex with a woman, and also he looks at boobs in that one part. So, Cortex bi. Continuing on from that game is Tag Team Racing. Oh, holy shit, Tag Team Racing. I just like remembered about it. It kind of doesn't have that much of a story, so most of it is in the race dialogue, but hoo boy is it something. One of the most standout lines to me is this one.
All my life I've waited for Crash's love. I can wait some more.
Now that line got cut from the game, but it was recorded and might have been planned at some point, and I think that says a lot. We almost got an admission of his feelings. Almost! And to the writers, it's probably canon. Like, they gay. They're gay. But we do have this one that made it in that I think is also crazy.
I haven't laughed like that since I was a schoolgirl.
So, that's insane, right? Trans Cortex? It is just this one line, and it's never been mentioned in any game before or since this, but like, we could have had trans Cortex, and I think that's crazy. Anyway, after Tag Team Racing, they kinda toned down the queer coding on him, just a bit. Basically, they kept everything about him normal, but they removed the gay jokes, and that's fine. I am a bit sad they got rid of the Crash text stuff, but whatever, he's still gay, so it's fine. But then, in Crash 4, they got rid of this stuff even more by making them family. Are they fucking with me? They did Cortex so dirty in Crash 4 in terms of his sexuality. Like, yeah, he's probably still a queer man, but why get rid of his most prominent gay relationship? Why do that? And why have him still act super obsessed with Crash in a very not straight way if they're gonna be family? Why is Crash 4 like this? It's the 2020s. We could have had Cortex and Crash be written as something other than a joke for once. And the fact that we didn't get that, or even them remaining ambiguous, deeply disappoints me. And it's also disappointing because of how good the rest of the writing of their relationship is. I already talked about Crash in this game, but Cortex? Oh my god, amazing. Especially in the backstory, other than the family bit. Cortex started off very uninterested in Crash. He just wanted him to be a general, a weapon. But over time, he began to form a real relationship with him, and later went on to develop feelings for him. After Crash ran away, he was devastated. So much so that when he was experimenting on Coco, he was sighing wearily over him like he's his long-lost lover. In the present, he believes he hates Crash, but that's just a cover-up for his true feelings. Feelings that he cannot accept. Do you see this? Do you see the potential in this? It's so good, man. I love it. I want this relationship to be taken even somewhat seriously by the writers so bad, man. I know it'll never happen, but I'm still allowed to be disappointed that it didn't. Especially because of the past queer coding of them. I know Crash 4 retcons everything except the original trilogy, but like, come on, man. This game uses tons of concepts from other games and even explicitly references them. Why couldn't they have kept the queer coding? I don't know, man. I don't have the answer to that, but I'm very sad about it.
I will share the joy with my trophy wife. Who are we kidding?
Now, N. is an interesting case. He's similar to Cortex in that he wasn't queer coded in the first 3 games, or CTR, or Wrath of Cortex. Honestly, he was just written out of character in that one, but a few changes to his character happened in Nitro Kart, and then, you guessed it, Twinsanity happened! Twinsanity has a lot of cut content. That is no secret, and most of N. Gin's role in that game was cut. What little he does get in the finished game is still interesting, though. There's this little exchange between him and Cortex.
How was I, N.
Dr. Cortex, you are magnificent.
Of course I was, you fool.
That's a little gay, but that alone would not be enough to say anything. It's the cut content that really does it. For context, in the finished game, N. Gin only got one level with not much story and a very interesting boss fight. But what he was supposed to get is far more interesting. In the original story, Cortex was supposed to cross-dress, again, to sneak into N. Gin's ship with Crash. N. Gin sees him and is immediately attracted to him. He currently assumes Cortex to be a woman. Cortex ends up getting captured by N. Gin, who ties him up and then says he will shower him with pearls and make him his bride. Cortex bats his eyelashes at him, and upon closer inspection, N. Gin realizes that's his boss. However, he is still attracted to him, indicated by this line.
Dr. Cortex? How confusing.
This scene, when you break it down, has N. Gin realize his sexuality and not know what to do about it. Yes, it's framed as a joke, but like, he's just bisexual? He just realized he's bisexual, that's it, that's the joke. And you know what's crazy about that? Even though his bi-awakening didn't make it into the game, the next 3 games have him still be attracted to Cortex. I know this is probably a coincidence, but this is awesome! Once again, tag team racing is quite something. This game firmly established that he is a sadomasochist, and that at least the masochism part is probably sexual. This is important, I swear. It also hinted that he may have feelings for Cortex. And then the Titans games happened and they were like, he wants Cortex bad now, like really bad. N. Gin is down horrific in Titans. For context, in the first scene where they're together, Cortex accidentally spits hot tea on him and then he proceeds to very enthusiastically thank him. He wants this man to spit on him so bad, oh my god! Also, before the tea thing, he's looking at him like this. Dude. He is willing to betray Nina for him, even though that may put him in danger. He admits to liking it when Cortex kicks him. After the events of the first game, he ends up hiding out in a tower stalking the Bandicoots because he believes if he does so, then Cortex will come back for him and reward him. I mean, how much more do I really need to say about this? He wants him bad. I love him so much. I love his fucked up feelings for Cortex. He seems like he just wants him to dominate him, but his thoughts are more complex than you might initially think. There's bits of dialogue implying that he wants Cortex to see him as more than just a punching bag. My favorite of these being from Tag Team Racing.
I wish Dr. Cortex knew the real me. It's so superficial.
And guess what? This line is unused. Tag Team Racing and their unused lines that basically confirm queer relationships. They're 2 for 2 right now. Anyway, TLDR, I love them so much. They're so fucked. Now we have Crash 4. And guess what they did? That's right. Get rid of N. Gin's queerness. Wow! He is very normal towards Cortex now, and that is so disappointing. Again, I know it's because they're picking up after Warped, so none of that other stuff happened, but like, come on, man. Like I said, they're using other ideas from the post-Warped games, and some of those ideas are for N. Gin himself, like him using Doom Monkeys and hating humans. They are really just picking and choosing what bits of Crash lore they like and they're cutting the rest. Which I understand, but it is a little bit weird that they removed the queer coding of 2 different characters. But whatever, I guess. Because guess what? There is one good thing they did. There is one character that they gave queer coding to.
Yes, it is I, Embryo. My name sounds like fetus.
Chat, it's time to talk about Brio. I'm so excited to talk about Brio. So first of all, the trans allegory is very much obvious here. He literally drinks potions to change his body. Now this alone wouldn't be much, but in Crash 4 they add some very interesting dialogue about this.
I can't say I see the appeal of all that jumping you do, but perhaps I don't have the right body for it yet.
This is really big to me because this implies a sort of fluidity to it. He wants to be able to change his body to adapt to any scenario. Now, that alone is, again, not inherently a trans thing, but making potions to literally change his body in any way he likes, and not just once, he wants to be able to do it over and over again and in different ways. I don't know, man, that sounds a bit gender fluid to me, I don't know. There are obviously multiple ways of interpreting this part of his character, and I think they're all good. Personally, I've always seen it as like a medical thing, the feeling of wanting to be able to change and quote-unquote fix your own body because of health issues. That's real. But also, trans Brio could be just as real. Or it could be both. I don't know, it's all up to interpretation. Also, they added stuff in Crash 4 that makes him and Cortex sound gay as fuck. At least Brio was. It seems like it was a one-sided thing. Cortex was very oblivious throughout their entire relationship about a lot of things. And now Brio hates him. They're like toxic exes, but if they were never together romantically, it's really funny. I quite like them. Catbat is canonically non-binary and uses they/them pronouns. That's it! No coding! They are just real! Let's go! I love Catbat so much. They did some awesome stuff with them in Crash Team Rumble, specifically with the skins. They have androgynous skins, they have mask skins, and they have femme skins. It's amazing. They are a fashion icon. It's part of their character, and it is very well represented by their skins in the game. There's nothing else to talk about in terms of their identity. They did everything really well. I just wish there was more Catbat. I love them. I need them to be in the next game. If there's a Crash 5, please put Catbat in it. Please, I need this. This is the end of the video. There's no funny sound effect at the end of the video. And that's it. That's all of them. At least the ones I have any kind of evidence for. So, what do you think? I had fun. I hope you had fun. You know, there are a few characters that I feel like, this is completely unscripted by the way, I feel like, in my heart of hearts, there's something going on with them. They're a little bit not straight. I have zero proof for this, but my nominees for I have zero proof of this, but they're not straight, are Coco and Nina. Those two. Not them together, because Crash and Cortex, it'd be really weird. It'd be really weird if both of those were canon. But they're, you know, they might be gay. They might be gay separately. I don't know. Comment about your favorite Crash characters if you want. Why do I sound like I'm drunk? Anyway, you can comment about your favorite Crash characters if you want, or you can like, or you can subscribe if you liked it. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.